Hello, Muscatine, and welcome to Muscatine in Focus. This is episode number 8. And today's segment that we're going to be focusing on is Be Your Best. And I have Charla here and I have Jodi here. And they're going to be talking about who they are, what they do, and how they're working to make Muscatine quality and quantity of housing here in Muscatine. So I'm going to ask Charla a question right away. Hi, Charla. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on today, Brad.
Thank you. Could you share about, just take a quick second to talk about who you are, where you work, and what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm Charla Schafer. I work at the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine. And at the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine, we do a couple of things. We marshal resources and deploy capital around areas that enhance the quality of life in our community. And secondarily, we work collaboratively around the community's most pressing or priorities and pressing areas of need. And we do that, as I said, in a collaborative nature, but we try to do it upstream. So we try to not work on the outcomes, but try to prevent the outcomes. And that's one of the reasons we're here today. And it's one of the reasons we get a chance to work with Jodi at City Housing is around housing.
Perfect. Thank you, Charla. And Jodi, same question, please.
So I'm Jodi Royal-Goodwin. I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Muscatine. And at the city, in that role, I oversee building and zoning as well as the housing agency. And so all of those things touch the quality of life and kind of set a stage for how people live in our community. And so in that role, I get to work with people like Charla and Scott at MCSA to talk about and work on projects that improve the quality of housing, improve the access to housing, all of those pieces so that people can have a quality of life.
Great. Would you two be able to talk about or just touch on some of the statistics about housing in Muscatine and the need for it?
You bet. Yeah. You want me to go first, Jodi?
Sure.
All right. So one I like to touch on is, and it's not an actual statistic, but we have a rising level of food insecurity in our community. And people often don't say, why do we have more and more people that are hungry? And it's an outcome of unaffordable housing. So the higher their rents get, less they have available to spend on food and other medical needs and other things like that. So to give you an idea, 43% of our renters spend more than what's considered the appropriate amount on their housing, which is about 30%. And we see some get staggeringly high of their income that goes toward housing. 20% of folks that own their own home are housing burdened and spend too much toward that. So we see a lot of outcomes around that. We see children in our community changing schools if they're on free lunch 3 to 4 times more often. Changing schools within the school district 3 to 4 more times more often than a child that's not on a free lunch. And that's again because there's a supply side failure on housing. The costs are too high and their parents are having to move quite frequently, which affects them academically. So we see a lot of outcomes because of the supply side failure. We've got 12,000 folks. I know you talk about this a lot, Brad. We've got 12,000 folks that drive into our county every day. And often it's because they don't have either housing available to them or it might not be the right housing choices that they have available to them. And so again, that affects both the folks that want to live here and their families, and also affects the employers that need them living here. So just a few high level quick stats.
Thank you so much.
And I let Charla be the stats person, but I think that the next piece of that really is about the economics of housing, right? Not just in terms of personal economics, like I live here, I pay rent or I pay a mortgage kind of economics, but the economics of the ability to grow our community economically. If we have more housing available that people want to live in, they may choose not to go to a different community, and that in and of itself, regardless if they work here or not, actually is an economic benefit, because somewhere between 40 and 60% of their income then gets spent in our community, whether it's on daily groceries or at the gas station or going out to eat, all of those things. So whereas with those 12,000 people who drive in, they're taking that money back with them. So you have that economics, as well as then having a workforce that the employers actually have available to them in a consistent manner. They're committed to that. And I think that right now, that's one of the things you're looking at is the rising gas prices. It's if you have a similar job that you might like as much, it's easier to then start looking somewhere else. And so to keep that long-term employer-employee relationship.
And I know that you shared a slide, and I believe it says Dave Armstrong up top, regarding that. And it was quite interesting because of the people that drive in every day. They said that they can't find the appropriate housing. I believe it said 73%. If you guys want to touch on that.
So Dave actually was talking about the number of houses that are for sale, and one of the things
Okay.
out of the housing study that we had was it actually identified in 2015 that the number of families, the percentage of respondents to the survey that said they didn't believe they could find the type of housing they were looking for in our community was 73%. So if you take that 73%, if they can't find what they're looking for, they're going somewhere else to look. So it's our job to create housing options that people want and desire.
And to that point in that stat, I think it was like 29 houses were available for sale and like 10,000 to 500,000 last week. And if we have 9,000 households, so think about how few opportunities there are for someone to, move into our community. And it's honestly, Brad, as you well know, it's a good problem to have because we have people that want to live here. So that's a good problem. People choose Muscatine and they want to choose Muscatine, so we need to make it easier for them to choose Muscatine and have options so that they can get moved in on a timing that they're looking to do.
So we need housing, right?
We need housing.
Next question would be, how is the Community Foundation and the City of Muscatine, working on housing together?
Well, I think the biggest thing we're doing right now is recently there's been a plan. We have a collaborative group working together to create a plan to how do we focus on, how do we make this issue kind of first and foremost in everybody's minds on how we establish policy around getting to this point where we're meeting this need. And so that group created a housing plan that was then adopted by both the City of Muscatine and Muscatine County Board of Supervisors that outlines some strategies, and out of that comes the Housing Council. So Charla and the Community Foundation and the city and MCSA and the business community and a lot of other people who are volunteering on a professional and personal level will be participating in taking those strategies and taking them to the next level to get things going on the ground. And a lot of conversation.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and I think it's just like everything, right? It's all these things intersect so widely. So we had a project where we brought a Homes for Iowa home to our community, and actually, Brad, you were instrumental in helping us get that accomplished. So we brought a Homes for Iowa project. The prisoners built it in Newton. It was delivered. The City of Muscatine worked with us to have a lot so that we could keep it at a lower price point so we could get a first-time home buyer into that project. As Jodi said, we're working really hard on the Housing Council and creating task groups where we often try to address community issues in silos, and they're complex, right? So it takes all of us working together, and that's really the impetus behind the Housing Council. Last spring, we had we worked together to have a housing summit, and Debbie Durham from the Iowa Economic Development Authority was in town and spoke at that. And we've had some nice outcomes. The IDA's partnered with us differently since they were here, but also it allowed different folks from our community to have a better understanding of just what we're talking about today. We have a significant housing need, so we partner very closely on those projects as well. Any place that we can collaborate together. They say you can go fast alone or far together, and we like to go far and fast together. So we just work as close as we can with everybody.
No, that's great. And I being part of this as well, it's just been nice to kind of see city, community foundation, MCSA, county. I mean, it's just everybody working together for the common good. In this case, it's housing. So wonderful job. Can you talk about the future of housing in Muscatine and maybe share some of the projects you are working on? And this is the most exciting question, by the way. So,
Jodi's the most exciting of the two of us, so I'll let her answer.
I think that there are projects underway, multifamily projects underway. I think that the most exciting thing is that we're just making steps where we have tangible steps that are outlined to meet the needs of our residents, to meet the needs of our economy, to grow our community. We've been essentially the same population for decades now. And one of the things that the housing study that was completed in 2017 identified was that just to grow 1%, you needed to add 500 housing units in the next 8 years, right? From that time. So between 2017 and 2025, you needed to provide 500 housing units just to grow 1%. And so we're taking that, and we've been like, in Muscatine County, we need to have 900 housing units in the next 3 years just to provide quality of life services and to start to help people move into our community, which I think is more important than ever right now because, like I said, we have the inflation, we have the gas prices, all of those things that are really taking the disposable income and stretching it. You know, there used to be a saying that people drove until they could afford their house, and now you can't afford to drive to afford a house because you spend so much more, unless you have an electric car maybe, but that's a whole different story. So I think that, you know, just having all of the elected bodies and a group of people just focused on working on this and having the same conversation, having recognition that this is about the economy as a whole, not just about an individual family's choices. I think that's really the most exciting part to me. And then the next exciting part is that I get to be like on this little group that says, oh, go do that. And then watch Scott go do it.
Right, yeah. Scott, he's a mover and shaker too, isn't he?
So yeah, but you know, and identifying the neighborhoods, right? Working for the residents that are already here. So in the Mulberry neighborhood, in the Grandview neighborhood, working with those neighborhoods to actually not just have new houses, but to maintain quality of housing for the current residents as well.
Perfect. Would you be able to touch on maybe the neighborhood and then also, you know, MCSA, what they're possibly working on as
Yeah,
well?
absolutely. So as part of, after Debbie Durham left with the IDH, they invited us to do a project around a neighborhood, a revitalization project. And so we've been working with the city and the county and MCSA. Kent Corp sits at the table as well, and identifying how we can do a really multifaceted approach. And so as we're working through that, there's the opportunities for rehab, there's opportunities for new construction, there's opportunities to engage the neighbors, right? To find if there's things around education or connectivity that they aren't aware of, and provide some of those services as well. So it's really a multifaceted approach to a neighborhood. And with that, Scott and MCSA has been already in the neighborhood. So they had a similar project already in moving when we aligned with the Iowa Economic Development. So they've been buying some properties and they're rehabbing those properties and bringing those back to life. And their focus obviously is we need more housing, again, for lower income folks, sometimes for folks that need permanent support, and sometimes for just first time home buyers or people who have been in the community. So as they work on some of those projects, it's going to enhance some of the work we're doing within the neighborhood as well. And again, all work, whether it's, and there's commercial facade opportunities with that too, so it's not just on the housing piece, but when you revitalize a neighborhood, you want to make sure you approach it from all different facets.
Right. Oh, very good. Well, and I can't believe we're almost done already, but any closing thoughts you'd like to talk to your audience about? We can start with you first, Jodi.
I guess I would say, going back to kind of what Charla was talking about, you know, we can do things in silos or we can do things better, faster. I think, you know, with this collaboration that we have going, we take a lot of pieces and we put them together in a way that maximizes both the individual skill sets and what the task is of that group. So the city has certain things we can and can't do, and certain things we can and can't do at a certain speed, right?
Yes.
So whereas the community foundation might be able to go do something different that's really needed, and then bringing in, like I said, the realtors and the landlords and having them have say from the beginning on, like, how do we fix this, not just having that conversation at the Landlords Association, but having it in a group of other people who are interested in the same topic, so that we're all making that forward progress in the quickest fashion we can.
Wonderful.
Oh, I just first I'd like to tell you, Brad, thanks for the work that you've done, because you identified this as an area that needed additional resources, and you put the time and effort in to help support the work that we're doing, and I appreciate that, and I'll appreciate that going forward as you have those conversations at city level. I think the one thing I would like to touch on again is housing is foundational, and it intersects everything. So we often see the outcomes, whether it's food insecurity or health issues, when someone's living in a poor quality home and they're impacted by that. So we have health, we have education. You know, if kids are changing schools or not as well educated, we have all those pieces. And when we look back to the root, you have to have housing available to you that meets your needs. And so when we start to address this, we strengthen the community for sure, right? We're going to bring more tax dollars to the community. We're going to help the schools because more dollars are going to flow. We're going to stabilize families. We're going to bring new families into the community that haven't had an opportunity to live here and enjoy what's going on. We're going to keep families that currently their dads are having or moms are having to drive an hour to get back home. They're going to be so they can get home 8 minutes later like everybody else in Muscatine, right? And we're going to strengthen those families. So this is just such an instrumental conversation. And what we know is it's the largest community asset is housing. And if we're not paying attention to it, it will continue to deteriorate. We'll continue to have housing go offline. We've got to put it online faster and make a difference. And so I think as we, as community members, as community leaders, as folks that are leading the conversation in our city, this is it needs to be a singular focus, because on top of everything else, if we're able to put housing online, we have kind of a revolving revenue source back for dollars to flow back, as Jodi said, whether it's back into the businesses, whether it's back into the city, whether it's back into the county or the school district. So it's such a win-win at the end, but in the meantime, we're affecting all our families and our community in such a way. And this conversation really needs lifted up, and we appreciate the fact that you're giving time for that to happen today, as well as you sit in the conversations you sit in with the community leaders on a daily basis and the folks from our community. So thank you.
And thank you too so much for being on the show, and it's just good to push out the facts of all the good things happening in Muscatine, especially one of the main topics, housing, which is one of the main topics that many people have been talking about. So Charla, thank you so much.
Thanks,
and Jodi, thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you guys obviously some more in the future.
I appreciate your leadership.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you, Muscatine, for watching, and remember to be your best, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, my name is Erika Cox, and I'm the Director of Customer and Technology Experience at MPW. My husband Jason and I grew up in Muscatine, returned after college, and raised our two daughters, Lindsay and Sydney, here. They had some great experiences going through the Muscatine school system. Sydney is in her sophomore year at Iowa, and Lindsay is planning to go there next year as well. Jason and I are both lucky to have many of our family members still in Muscatine. Having family and lifelong friends in town is a great support, and they also keep me on my toes when it comes to MPW's services, if you know what I mean. I want to provide them and you a great service with a great customer experience. A few weeks ago, our General Manager, Gage Houston, was on and gave an overview of the utility's strategic plan. Today, I would like to give a little color to Strategy 5, Grow Our Services. Muscatine is a gigabit city now with our Fiber to the Home project complete. That means Muscatine residents, business, and industry have access to a state-of-the-art communications system. Fiber is the most consistently fast internet service available. It's more secure and has higher reliability. Some of you might remember the days before we were on fiber and how rainstorms or power outages would also cause communications outages. That has changed with our all-fiber network. After a recent heavy rain and windstorm, a customer called in with this comment. MPW's fiber cable system is great. I'm impressed there wasn't a single interruption in service. We love getting customer feedback like that. Our fiber network provides more than just internet and cable TV. We also provide phone service to residential and business customers. And you can keep your existing phone number. If you have a landline service, give us a call. We can probably save you some money. So who wouldn't want to have super fast fiber in today's world? Going through a pandemic showed us that fast, reliable internet is no longer a luxury, but a utility service as important as electricity and water. Many people needed to quickly transition to working and schooling from home, and even some healthcare went virtual. It's no surprise that outlying neighborhoods have been asking MPW to expand our communications footprint, so they are not left behind the digital divide. Last year, we did a small expansion into Rolling Meadows neighborhood, and this year we'll be doing another small expansion in connecting customers on Tipton Road from the bypass to Canterbury Road. Also, thanks to a significant state grant, MPW will be doing a much larger extension of our fiber network outside Muscatine city limits. Specifically, areas along Highway 22 East, including Geneva Hills Road, Sweetland Road from Highway 22 to Charles Way, Deerfield Road, the Macasiba area, and the Skylane Road area. Another grant funded by the Federal Infrastructure Bill and a grant by Muscatine County is allowing us to also expand into the Bayfield Road and North Tipton Road area. Both projects will be engineered this year with construction starting in 2023. Access to high-speed fiber internet provides one more reason for families to choose to work and live in the Muscatine community. It also allows for remote work, giving workers the opportunity to live here instead of congested urban settings. For business and industry, it allows them to compete locally and abroad. Our objective is to position Muscatine for progress today and decades to come. Growing our services is just one way MPW is working to make the Muscatine area the best place to live, play, work, and stay. Thank you for having me on today, Mayor Bark.
Hi, I'm Hannah with the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and we are excited to bring you the next Small Business Spotlight here at the Merrill Soap Company. So I am here with Daryl from the Merrill Soap Company, and why don't you tell us a little bit more about your business?
We are a small, handcrafted operation here. Everything we make is made here in-house. It's made with natural ingredients, and we make everything.
So tell us a little bit, so from the soaps to everything, what kinds of products do you sell?
We sell soaps, we sell bath bombs, we sell bubble dust, we have body scrubs, we have seasonal soaps, novelty soaps, we do men's beard oil also.
I was just in a meeting with Mayor Brad Bark, and he gave you a recommendation for the best beard oil is right here.
That's great to hear. We also offer soap accessories, soap dishes, scrub bags for the showers, all different varieties, something that can coordinate and accent your bath.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started.
We got started simply because I couldn't get a soap that I really liked. It wasn't available anymore. And so Merrill decided he was going to try to create that soap. So he learned how to create our soaps, and that's how we got started.
And so how did you go to being in this downtown location?
We started out small, just like any other business, grassroots. We started at the Muscatine area farmers market, and we started out with maybe 10 bars of soap, and it just grew and grew and grew, and people loved what we were bringing them.
About how many different smells and types do you have now?
We carry about 80 different scents available right now.
Wow.
Most of our soaps are predominantly hot processed soaps. They're made with coconut oil and olive oil. They're very soothing and easy on the skin. They have a lot of moisturizing and antioxidant properties from the oils in them. So they're very good to use, very gentle on the skin. And we also do goat's milk soaps, something a little bit more natural. And we do some cold process too to get some fun stuff in there once in a while.
So tell us a little bit more about your seasonal soaps.
We love our seasonal soaps, and we're getting to be known for our duck soaps in particular. We offer a variety of baby duck soaps for gender neutral, boys, girls. New this week, we're bringing in our unicorn soaps. These little guys are fun, they're multicolored, and they smell great.
Oh, I love that. That is so fun.
And we also have unicorn poop. Little girls love these. They're scented with cotton candy, and boy, they sell like hotcakes.
Perfect spring little gift or Easter basket gift. I love it.
Perfect for the Easter baskets, and we will have Easter soaps coming soon. So we got lots of variety for gifts available down here also. And then starting next week, Thursday, for our ribbon cutting ceremony on March 31st at 5:15, we're unveiling the Muscatine soap, the Muskie soap.
That is amazing. I love it. So please, if you can, join us for the Merrill Soap Company's ribbon cutting, again, Thursday, April 31st at 5:15 right here to check out all of these amazing products in person.
Okay, we're so excited to be here on Muscatine in Focus, talking about a very unique event that is coming up April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's called Bleacher Bums, and we are bringing Wrigley Field to Muscatine, Iowa, downtown Muscatine, Iowa to be exact. The whole 9 innings is coming to Muscatine, very unique opportunity. I actually am in the play. I play Decker, a businessman, animated man in his 40s, so I'm kind of wearing 2 hats here, and I can tell you this is a funny play, and I'm excited to introduce our special guest to let you know all about it, and we'll even hear from our director and producer later. So, all right, welcome, guys. Who we got here? Yes, all right. So, I know your character. Obviously, we got Bryce Taylor, Bill Turner. You're playing the cheerleader over here, and Zigula.
Herb Zigowski.
Okay, so let's back up a second here. Bryce, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your character.
Of course. My name is Bryce Taylor. I have quite an extensive theater background. I have a degree in theater from UNI, and then I've been in a bunch of plays outside of Pearl City Players, but I've also been in a few Pearl City Players productions like Sleepy Hollow and The Nerd.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us about this character. We're in costume. We're not in character, but we're in costume. What's your character? And tell us a little about the part in the play that you have.
Of course. So, in essence, physically, without words, I would say my character is a little like this.
There we go. You might as well get used to it. Cheerleader.
Come see Bleacher Bums. Woo! He's kind of the maniac, totally obsessed sports fan that thinks he is a part of the team and will do anything to help them win, and I mean anything.
Yeah. And you're about a quarter throttle right now as far as your animation goes.
Oh, yeah.
So watch out.
It goes up about 10 more steps from this, and it's quite an immersive experience.
And I think it's immersive for the audience as well, because the audience is in Wrigley Field right there with us, like singing the seventh inning stretch, the whole situation, right?
Right.
Okay, Zigula, aka Bill Turner, talk to us a little about your background and then your character.
Well, I'm a lifelong Cub fan. I'm old enough to remember 1969. So, this show has been on my bucket list since I first saw it back in the early 80s. So it's pretty exciting to be in it. I've done a lot of community theater over the last 20, 25 years. Some with PCP. I was helped found PCP. I did some things with the Maskers, and then I do a show out at New Era pretty much every year for the last 25 years. So.
Okay. So Zigula. Now, you were actually my character back in the first run.
2 years ago when we cast the show, I was Decker.
Yeah.
But
And then
I was Richie.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was too busy or something. And now 2 years later, and it's even at the same venue that this is like stopping time, and now we're back.
Yeah.
But now you're Zigula, and I think it kind of fits. But
it's a much more fun character, I think.
talk to us about your character.
Zig is a long-suffering Cub fan. He comes to the ballpark frequently. I wouldn't say every day, but frequently, and he likes to bet on about anything. So there's a lot of that's going on in the show.
There's a lot of gambling going on in a fun way because it helps drive the plot.
Yeah, and it's just, friends getting together, making bets about the game and other things. So.
There's some drinking involved too.
A little bit of
We're at Wrigley
celebration.
Field.
Yeah,
it's
we're
a
having
beautiful
great
day at
time.
Wrigley Field. We're going to have the hot dogs, the polies, the Polish sausage.
Oh, yeah.
When you come to Wrigley Field, you don't eat egg salad
No,
sandwiches.
you don't eat egg
Eat
salad
hot
sandwich.
dogs.
So there should be some food, as I
There will be
understand,
hot dogs,
available
right?
at the show, right,
Yeah,
Chad?
so we've got Boonies is catering this affair. So this is Wrigley Field at the moment. You suspend reality so you can go up to the concession stand before, maybe even during the play and after, and have a hot dog, maybe a brat, some nachos,
A beer.
a beer. I mean, might as well drink beers with us. We're having a couple. I mean, not sure about the cheerleader, but me and Zig.
I'm a method actor. I got to drink beer.
Someone might throw
Character
some beer
drinks
on me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not the biggest Cubs aficionado, but thank God there's a couple that are.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cubs fan myself.
But 1998, 99, I mean, who doesn't know Sammy Sosa?
Mark McGwire. The great home run race.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really hits home in a lot of ways, and it's fun to know the names and to kind of step back and understand what we're talking about and really be rooting for the Cubs or the Cardinals. I mean,
I do want to say, yeah, you don't just have to be a Cubs fan to see the show. You can be a Cardinal fan. There's a lot of Cardinal stuff that happens because it's Cubs versus Cardinals. You can just be a theater fan. You can just be someone who wants to go out and have a great time on a weekend and really make the most of what Muscatine has to offer.
yeah, well put. I was going to ask you why should people come. Check that off the list of things to do because exactly, it's a unique way to go out in Muscatine, socialize, and maybe even have an adult beverage or two, but in a more engaging way, as far as that goes. But theater lovers, sure,
Yeah.
obviously, but sports fans. And then what about if you like Saturday Night Live? This is a version of that. So comedy lovers too. What are your thoughts on why people should? Because you've done a lot of plays, you've been in them. This one isn't better necessarily, but it's unique. And
It is
talk to
very
us about
unique
that.
because it's not structured like a typical play. There's no acts and scenes. It's just one ball game, and you get to be experiencing the whole game right there in the stands with this unique cast of characters, and they are, like you said, Saturday Night Live type characters.
Yeah.
Pretty much over the top. And it's a lot of fun.
And it's structured as far as innings go, so we're following along with the game. That's part of our memorization, but you're going to watch this game unfold, inning by inning, hit by hit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all know, we're all smiling because we know what you're going to experience if you attend this event. But don't just take our word for it. We're going to actually let you hear from our director and faithful producer, Cassidy. So without further ado, take it away.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Probasco. I am directing and producing Bleacher Bums. It's going to be at the River's Edge Event Loft, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I've done numerous shows with Pearl City Players as an actor and a couple as a director, this being the second one and the most anticipated because we've been working on this since before COVID hit in March 2020. So this is our second run of the show, and we're really excited to be able to bring this show to you guys. It has a great message of being present and involved when you go to live events and interacting with the people around you. It also speaks to baseball fans of all types, whether you're a Cubs fan or not. This show is for you. You're going to laugh hysterically. I've been sitting in on these rehearsals for a long time now, and the cast is still making me laugh each night that I come. You're not going to want to miss this show. It's been a long time coming, and we're excited to bring it to you. You can get tickets ahead of time either by emailing Pearl City Players at yahoo.com, and you can reserve will call tickets that way. Otherwise, you can purchase them at one of our local business sponsors, either at Pack and Ship, Boonies, or Headquarters. Tickets are $15, and we hope to see you there. River's Edge Event Center, April 1st at 7 p.m., April 2nd at 7 p.m., and April 3rd at 2 p.m. Thank you.